kamikaze-like it was, and it was quite a surprise. And I said, "What's hit me? There's a UFO around here. Something's hit me." Blackened the eye a bit, a little bit of bleeding. I was with my bike, and a magpie swooped and apparently had its eye on me. Never ever thinking that this was going to get me a second time, this magpie. And it got me all right.
A familiar tale for anyone riding their bike during magpie swooping season. Ducking, diving, waving your arms frantically, attempting any maneuver to save yourself. Nearly everyone has a story to tell about a magpie attack.
I think this happens to kids every year in spring around Australia. My daughter was riding along on her bike and a magpie came in, and she was wearing a helmet, and came in and sliced her here quite badly, and she's still got a scar.
My wife, she was riding a bike and she got hit in her ear. It had a really big wound in her ear, a lot of blood coming out. And that was just by magpie attack. And she was wearing a helmet.
First time I was attacked was in 1965 when I was 8 years of age in a park. But I was quite frightened. I just laid on the ground horizontally and looked upwards to see what was going on. And as soon as I got up again, they tried to attack me. So I just sort of like tiptoed out of the area. That's when I realised that magpies are an attacking breed.
Magpies are very territorial. After the first few years of growing up, a magpie gets to own a territory. And at any cost, they're going to defend their patch against the enemy.
All they're doing is defending their nest. They'll only dive bomb or swoop people until the young fledge. And so pedestrians tend to be at risk within about 50 metres of the nest, and cyclists up to about 150 metres from the nest.
The notorious magpie occurs pretty much across Australia, except for right in the middle, although they are more common around the coastal regions. They're distinctively black and white, however, they show quite marked differences in their plumage. In most of northern Australia, they're black with a little white across the nape and on the wings. Down south, their backs are bright white, especially the males.
One of the things that I guess we've found very interesting is that they're more territorial to magpies than they are to anything else, even though they do attack humans. Boundaries are very discreet. They know almost within a couple of metres if one of the birds from next door goes over that boundary, all the others will come and attack them. But sometimes you'll see 10 magpies on the ground having a sort of a little barney and deciding which way the territory is going to go, a foot that way or a foot that way.
Jane Hughes heads up a team who study magpie genetics and their behavior. Although the male magpie is the protector of the female and her chicks, and risks getting the boot if he isn't seen to be doing his job, research has revealed a little extra nocturnal activity.
We've got this group of birds that are all individually colour banded, so we know whether they're in their territory or not. We've done some genetic work over the years, and we've found that magpies are extremely promiscuous. At least 50% of young magpies in our Victorian population are fathered by male magpies that don't live in the same territory. So they're not very, well-behaved birds.
For about 6 to 8 weeks, the males can become very aggressive. Their behavior is thousands of years old, so it's humans who need to change their behavior. To this end, a group of mates in Canberra decided to put the cycling helmet to the magpie test.
In Australia, you have to wear a helmet by law, so we were trying to find something that could disguise a helmet and not attract the magpies.
Well, one of my theories is that cyclists are a good target, because as the magpie comes down behind them, they can kind of match their flight speed with the bike speed, and they can sometimes just hang above your helmet and peck you. And my theory was that the cable ties at least would hold them beyond pecking distance, but our experiment would suggest that it makes no difference whatsoever.
So we mounted this lovely magpie on
Sculpture?
Yeah, on David's head, and unfortunately it didn't work either. In fact, I think it made the
attacks a bit more.
I think that was actually the worst one.
The guys have tried extensive testing of helmet adornments, posting their results on YouTube to massive hits. It's definitely an Australian obsession to conquer the might of the magpie. From Christmas decorations and crazy animals to drumsticks, the options are endless. But whilst you may look a little strange, the experiments will still make you the center of attention to the magpie. Until one last outrageous option.
Problem is, if you've got a bit of a headwind, there's quite a bit of extra resistance, and so you get a bit of a sore neck if you've got a long ride into work, which I've got. So you've sort of got to do a bit of extra training to wear the hair.
The hair has won the day against the magpie. David has worn the wig through different magpie territories with great success. Perhaps the new theory is shiny surfaces attract. Hide the helmet and you could be on a winner. However, you may feel more comfortable to take a different route for the month or so that magpies are known to be aggressive than wear a wig. Either way, it's better than coming off second best.
Got me between the cheek and the temple. Just very luckily that it didn't get me spot on to the eye.
Steve was lucky. His injuries healed, but in severe cases, some people have even lost an eye from a magpie swoop. But it's not always a direct hit to the face that can be the problem. Surprise often causes more accidents.
What you don't want to do is swerve. So I think anyone that's coped with magpie swooping, the first thing they've got to do is not to panic or do something unusual.
The instinctive behavior of the magpie can be dangerous. However, they're just trying to protect their family. For the rest of the year, these birds are one of our friendly Australian icons.
For 11 months of the year we have these lovely birds with their beautiful calls. We hand feed them, and just 1 month every year they turn into your worst nightmare.